Okay, so I know it's been a very long time since I've done the last single player episode based thing on this channel. I know I've done a lot of cooperative stuff. And as much as I like to do the co op stuff, I feel like I need to start focusing on myself, making a few solo content. So I'm thinking, instead of talking about all the excuses I have over why I didn't do streaming, or why I'm not going to do Pneumaticcraft. Instead, we're going to rush directly into doing the intro, which I think it is on literally every singular solo episode, which is where it's like a black background, white text, where it says Valhelsia 6. And then below that, it says like the episode chapter and a little comment of what I think. And so I'm thinking like add some type of music. It doesn't have to be the usual. All right, so it's been quite some time since I have actually done this, and I think we need to do a quick recap of what I did last episode. And looking at the thumbnail of my last episode, which was episode 9, the thing I did was, but actually, we can just go over there right now. Just take a quick bounce spell and then thrust. We did this. Oh, then I'm bouncing. I should have seen this coming. So these solar panels is what we did, plus this little energy link, the flux network, which gave us the ability to transfer our energy from this side over here directly into my little system right below here. Specifically, this little system over here. And as you can see, here's our flux point, which gives us energy, and we can start doing stuff over here. There's a lot to go through here, and I do kind of have a small little secret in that thing that I've had for a few days, and we might use it tonight. But today isn't about that. In fact, today is going to be about something else. Today, I'm going to fix up my cooking machine over here. If anybody remembers that one episode where I make this contraption, I thought I could fit in the part where I make a cooking machine, and I thought it was super easy. Apparently, it wasn't easy because I had to use a basin, and apparently, the basin has a limit over how it can be used. Not to mention, I didn't exactly understand how conveyor belts worked. I thought, haha, just pipe all the items in, it's totally not going to jam. It jammed almost immediately. So that's kind of an issue. Since we can't really solve that part, I'm feeling like we needed to find a different type of solution for the basin. The first solution I had for this was basically use every corner of this basin. Since the basin can only hold up to 16, all we then have to do is just pipe in every single ingredient in from each side. And the food we're making is this vegetable soup. Now, the vegetable soup itself needs 5 stuff. It needs the 4 ingredients we just talked about and a bowl. So, slight issue, we have enough for 4 of these. But then one of them will be left out and we have to manually do it. And I don't want to do it manually, so we need to find a different solution. And I did a whole lot of testing to see what would work, and I got one solution that worked out pretty well that was less expensive than what I originally had planned. So you're probably wondering, how will this work? How will we make this work out? Well, let's go ahead and grab some materials. For starters, we're gonna need this brass funnel. This brass funnel, a few mechanical belts, and I guess that's all I need at hand for now. We're also going to need to make more brass funnels. So we're going to need to get a few more vacuum tubes, a bit more dried kelp, and I was thinking maybe we can make a few brass tunnels. So it's not the funnels, it's the tunnels too. We can start off by fixing up the belt, so we at least have a somewhat understanding of how this is going to look. And it might look confusing at first, but don't worry, it will all come to play when I put in all the conveyors. We're also going to need to craft a lot of stuff, so yeah, a bit of a hassle, but should be fine. Alright, so here's step 1. We are going to output out items from this item vault. But the way we're going to output this, it's going to be systematically. So each one of these funnels are going to be outputting. But they're not going to output whatever. They're going to output a specific item. Since this conveyor belt will always be moving at a certain pace, the only thing we have to do is just make sure that the items come out. And they will take turns over which comes first. So like this one will go, but then this one will come in between, and then this one will come in between, and then so on and so forth. That way, we'll have a bit more of a systematic control over what is on the belt. So that's the first solution. The next solution, which is the big solution we have right now, before it's about to turn nighttime. Let me just first sleep. Alright, so the second solution I had was basically we are not going to thrust towards that. We are going to fill this side with basins. So, if I can find my basin, I guess I can put the andesite funnel here. Then we get the basin. This whole side will be filled with basins that will also have these brass belt funnels. Oh no, yeah, brass belt funnels. Or just brass funnels. I don't know why I'm making it more complicated than what it should be. So, let's go ahead and craft a bit of this, because I actually have the materials on me. Alright, so the idea here is, like I said, these over here, there's 5 of them, one for each ingredient. And then the basins over here will have an input thing over here. And this, I'm only using a brass here so that it can grab by stacks. So this will be grabbing by stacks of 16. Because that's all it can hold. So it'll go into the basin here. And then, all we have to do is just filter by recipe. So, bam. Now, it will only make vegetable soup. So, if the cabbages come in, it won't just automatically craft that into whatever that thing becomes. Because if you don't know, there's this one recipe that will always cycle in an automatic shapeless crafting. It's a cabbage leaf into cabbage, and then the cabbage, if you put it in the same thing. Hang on, let me find it. Automatic shapeless crafting. Really? I can't find it. But supposedly you're able to make it into, yeah, here it is. A cabbage into cabbage leaf again. And then once this thing is done making, it will go over to this backside over here. I'll put out whatever basin resources or whatever crafting recipe it's done making, and we'll input it right into a chest somewhere around here. So if I just get quick access to my shafts, I could just hook up a shaft to here. No. Like, oh my god. Really? Okay, fine. Putting it here. There. Fuckers. Okay, yeah, so like that. And then we get the belt into there. And there you go. It's pretty much done. Kind of. Now, all we need now is just the resources that come over here goes back into the item vault. Because it's going to be an infinite loop, but not the type of loop we think it's going to be. So it's a little bit of an issue. So I'm thinking I'm going to add a chute over here. And what this basically going to do is whatever we throw into here will go into the item vault. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to harvest one of each. One of each plant or fruit or whatever the fuck it is. I'm going to put them in the filter over here. And then I'm going to test if this chute works. Yeah, it does. Alright. Here's one thing about the cabbage. My idea generally was I was going to separate this. So, it will be 2 conveyor belts. So one of the conveyor belts would separate these cabbages over to this side, where I would then put a cutting board. But I'm noticing that it's very short between here. So I'm thinking if I want to do that, I might as well do it over here. But I'm going to see if it even works. So let me take my 2 tubes, check the crafting recipe. Yep, that's cheap. So 2 of you, 2 of you, and then I hate when it lags like that. 2 of you, and then that will make the brass tunnels. The reason why I'm going for tunnels is, well, actually I can show it to you. Once again, that a mechanical belt. And what are you? And I do this configuration. That way these two are synchronized. Okay, yeah, that won't really work. Unless... okay, that could work. So what this would do is... it would make me get shot. I mean, just... I hate this camp close by. One day I'm gonna kill the camp close by. It's like the camp is right over here. I don't know why I made base over here. Anyway, the idea here is, if we can, I'll add a cutting board at this part. Because it should be possible, in theory. But I need to look into it. But how do I do that, you might be asking? No idea. This is not something I've tested yet, by the way, so I'm experimenting with you guys. Yeah, here we go. Cutting board. In theory, yeah, the slicer. The way the slicer would work then is, on the conveyor belt, you give it a knife, and then it will just like hammer itself down. And I guess it can operate on... okay, that's interesting. But we only need a slicer for here, so... let me see how fast I can get the recipe for slicer. Oh, it's actually cheap. Alright, give me a sec. Alright, I got myself a slicer. And another illager. What the fuck? Alright, come here. Man, I love this sword. But I also don't like that it spreads fire. And I also realized that I forgot to sort in the cabbage here. So there you go. And I'm also realizing that I have the bowl, so I might as well add that in there. Okay, there you go. That's the 5 recipes there. Man, I'm trying to do too many things at once. If I put this like that, okay, there you go. That is that machine. Now, all I need to do is set up the rest. So if I pick this up, put this here. By the way, this is the toolbox, which gives me the ability to access some items that are inside of this thing. So anything that is available, I could just pick out from it. So like, there you go. There's the cogwheels. Very easy to use. How am I going to connect these? Like that, I guess. We put this vertical gearbox over here, and then we extend that. And then, all we have to do now is just turn all our power to there, I guess. That shouldn't be hard, right? Right, so I just add this to here. And I'm sort of realizing an issue if I connect it all in right now, but I guess I'll fix the last bit before I let it run. But I will put them close, like so. Right. Allegedly, this shouldn't craft the entire thing since we don't have the bolts. Which I'll solve in some way. Don't worry about that. But I'm gonna get one more item, which I forgot the name of. Let's see if I can find it real quickly. Here we go. Weight ejector. This thing is going to be fun. Now, the weighted ejector is possibly one of the most enjoyable things to use. I'm gonna show that right after depositing my cogwheels. Okay, where is that skeleton? Is there a skeleton? Okay, whatever. Oh, it's an illager. There you are. There, it's done. Alright, so the weighted ejector, what this thing does is, I'll just link this to here, and then I'll put it right here. And now, if I remember how to connect this up, I had a blueprint about how to do it. You know, now that I think about it, I think I just use a lot of gearboxes. So I think I'm just gonna get a few gearboxes. Alright, I got myself 3 gearboxes. Then all we gotta do is we just gotta add... We gotta first remove the llama. 1, 2, 3. And then one of you between there, and we're done. Let me first make it look a bit nice by adding these. Alright, just a few quick minor changes. I'm gonna put this over here so that now everything will filter. So all the cabbages will go through here and then the rest should go through here. In theory. I really hope this works first try. Alright, and now let's do our first test. Connect. Are you going the right direction? No. Of course it's not that easy. And there's all the resources. Good job, me. Good job, me. Well, this was bound to happen. Give me a second to save all these resources. Alright, so testing. First thing first, I need to make sure that everything is connected correctly. This conveyor belt is not being powered. There's a valid reason why it's not being powered. We need more gearboxes. Isn't that fun? I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of gearboxes. Hopefully that'll be enough to fix everything. So I guess we can start off by putting one over here. To see how that is being powered. Okay, at least they're going the directions they are supposed to. But now I wonder about this side. I'm gonna pick you up. Yeah, see, I don't want to put a gearbox there. So, what I will do is I won't put the gearbox there, but instead I'll put the gearbox here. Okay, let's see. So one gearbox over there. And then we need shafts. Which, luckily, I do have some andesite over here. I didn't want to use this reserve, but I guess I have to. Okay, that's going that direction. Which is not good. But I swap this with the large wheel. That still goes that direction. Problem. So we need another gearbox over here. There's gotta be another way to do this. Okay, so one gearbox over here. Perfect, perfect. And then one final gearbox over here. And now, in theory, everything is going the right direction. So, how about we test this with 2 stacks of potatoes? In theory, which, oh actually, since we're going by theory, we also need to fix these. We need to decrease these to per 16 stack. And the reason for this is just to make sure that they actually work and don't actually mess up the system. Even though these are already set to grab 16. But I guess, you know what? Let's test without this. This is probably not even needed. But alright, let's put in our potatoes. Potatoes go in. Yeah, see, that's the thing I was worried about. It actually splitting it. Yeah. But does it split over here? Is the question. Okay, does it split over there? So I know exactly what the solution is.
Hey! How about you smash right there? Smash right there! Come on, smash, smash, yeah!
Alright, but we got this, we got this. This actually works. Almost as intended. We still got a few things to fix up. Alright, so the final thing we now need to fix is just this final one over here. And that one I actually know how to fix. For once, I know how to fix it. And for that, I need to get something named a filter. I think you can see where this is going. So, by taking a few iron nuggets and a bit of wool, we can make this list filter. And this is very simply just so we can filter everything out. And that's exactly what I am going to do. We want to filter out all the items that goes where. And in our case, we want all of these to be on one side. Which, excuse me, you should go over there. I just realized I need to put the bowl in here too. Like so. So that should be carrot, beetroot, potato, bowl. But the cabbage will go this direction, which we have to attach a knife to that. Do I have a stick somewhere around here? I say that as if I can just find sticks in the wild. Sure, you can find some sticks in the wild. Like that. Okay, so we make this, no, into a knife. An iron knife. Actually, hang on. Put you there. And then we just put it on this. Here you go. This should cut the cabbage. Alright, so let me just quickly go make another filter. And then we can add those 3 items. Plus a cabbage leaf. And then after that, we're gaming. So in theory, this one shouldn't output. Unless there's a way to like blacklist it to come out of here. Nope. Maybe I could stop it from splitting. There you go. Okay. That should solve everything. Maybe I can remove that. Now let's try putting in the beetroots. So it goes into there. Goes through there. One side. It comes out of there. Perfect. That is the entire setup. It's done. Now if we take all these items, let's test them out. They go into this machine over here, which will then go through here, which will then get onto this conveyor belt, which will then get launched. Put the cabbage in to see if the cabbage thing works. It works. No. You need to filter. It's done. Oh, we might come into one problem. Let me remove this filter for a minute. And let me put the cabbage leaf in here. I put that over there and that should fix everything. So I thought. Why do you still... Wait, no. Give me the cabbage. Oh, man. Let's put a block here. That solved my issue. Like so. I put the rest over here. I think that solved it. And I put the cabbage leaf over here. The machine is done. So, everybody, I'd like to introduce you to the cooking machine. It does all the cooking automatically. Or in theory it should, but not completely done just yet. But it's able to take all the ingredients and sort them out, so I'm happy with that. But I'm realizing some issues, but I can fix that. Like real quickly. Like give me a second. Alright, let's just turn this machine off for a second. Let's remove your to put this in. And now that should give us specifically cabbage leaf and cabbages through there. So if I put this back on, is that a cabbage leaf I see? Yes, it is. So it should allegedly prioritize the leaf first, and then give out the cabbages. It's complete. The full automated machine, except it can't cook yet, because even if I get the bowls, which here I'll put a few bowls in, just to show you. There should be some bowls in the system. They should come into here. There it is. 4 bowls. It's not going to do anything because we're missing a very important thing. If we click into here, you might notice it says heated. We need a blaze burner. Now luckily, getting a blaze burner is not hard. All we need to do is just get an empty blaze burner. Wow, that doesn't really answer much. Okay, very simply, we put these 4 into here. It'll mash them down. And then we get some netherrack, and we combine that with those 4 plates. And then we put a blaze into the blaze burner thingy, whatever. And then you get one of these little bad boys down here. I don't think I had to explain that. Now I could use this one, but that's no fun. And besides, I need to show you a little good thing that I've made not long ago. That I might have already shown already, but I genuinely don't remember showing this. But it's in that tank right over there. And it is a jetpack. Very simple. I don't really know how much more complicated I could have made this. I'll explain in a moment what we needed. But I'm taking another rack over here. We're going to combine it and we're going to make the empty blaze burner. And I'll see you all in the nether. Alright, so here we are in the nether. And we need to find ourselves a blaze. Now, while staying hidden, because I don't want my portal to break. Oh, we gotta fight. Do you really want to fight? Okay, whatever, I'm just gonna hide over here. Look, point here is me to go over there, where there's definitely a fortress. But, slight issue. We can't bounce there, because we still die by the lava. What's our solution? Jetpack. Long story short, if I configure this correctly, yes, I have, we can fly. So, all I have to do is just run over there as fast as I can, whilst using as little jetpack fuel as possible, but that's gonna be hard one too. Give me a second. Come here. Wanna go? Huh? You wanna go? Okay, finally have a fighting chance. There. A fighting chance. Alright, but yeah, we have the jetpack, and we can combine this with thrust, and we can just, you know, maneuver very easily through here. And as you can see, we've already come a good chunk through here. Yeah, but this... Oh god, stupid dog. Interesting how the armor still repaired itself, even when I had this thing off. But alright, let's take our trip. The fortress. And here we are. See, that wasn't so hard. And I can already hear a blaze. In you go. See? No problem. It's a lot more faster than my other methods. Wait, did I actually fight in the second fortress? Why did I hear music over here? Okay, that was strange. Right, and then here we are. Back at the portal. And we only burned... Wow, we didn't burn a lot of fuel at all. But yeah, that's the jetpack. Really nifty tool. I'm going to be constantly using this. And I can finally stop hiding this baby. And put it in my chest. So, now that we have the blaze burner, we can put this down. And we can burn it. Or power it. And it will start to make, finally, our vegetable soups. I'm gonna put a few more bowls. They are outputting a bit weirdly, but that's fine, I can fix that. All I need is an andesite funnel and a chest. And I have neither. Let's see, where can I get a chest real quickly? How about you? Yeah, I can use you. There we go. But that's our food problem solved. It's really not that hard. There, it'll now open here, and then we can pick this up and fill back our food. Which is a super big help, considering that now we have basically an automated food source. We never have to cook, because the game cooks for us. Or our machine cooks for us. Problem, however, this is still something I have to take care of to make it work. As you can see with the blaze burner over here, it has stopped. The simple answer to this is, it needs fuel. And I can't really just get endless fuel from nowhere, so we're gonna have to fix that. Now, what's the best way to get a stable fuel source? That's not coal, charcoal. Basically the same thing, and there's also an infinite source that you could just farm. Luckily, we actually do have a wood farm right over here that I made a very long time ago. Oh well, I say I have a wood farm, but I've stopped the wood farm because it was making too much wood. It was making too much wood, and my double chest over here wasn't able to handle it. So that's our next goal. But will we do it today, or will we do it another time? Is the question. I don't know how long this will take, but let's do a bit of research to see how long this would take and if we can do it right now. If we can't do it right now, then oh well, we have next time. I'll try to output another episode as soon as possible, fixing this thing. Now allow me to give you the impatient version of this segment. We found two ways to make charcoal. One of the ways was using Create's bulk blasting, which is basically lava fan, and then pushing that in a way where it would cook. Meanwhile, the second method was the coke oven. The idea here is if the coke oven actually works with pipes, we can make a little machine that both makes the charcoal and makes treated wood. That way we can double the output of wood into not only charcoal but also treated wood planks, which will be super useful for future immersive engineering stuff. I'm not entirely sure how I was going to do it, but I knew I had a plan. So until next time I'll prepare the stuff, I'll actually get a better plan up and we'll see how it works. I guess that's all I got to report, so I could just end it whenever. Just cut me off.